Good afternoon, guys. It's Jahlon with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today I am doing Ashes 101 on PvP. We finally have enough details gathered up that we can give a pretty comprehensive look at the PvP that we can expect to get from Ashes. Now, want to let you know right off the bat, this is the PvP systems, not the PvP combat. So if you're looking for combat, you're going to have to wait a few more weeks till we get into Alpha 1. So the mechanics, the objectives, they want to have PvP be meaningful. They want meaningful PvP based around objectives. That gives us our castle sieges and our node sieges. This is arenas. You know, everyone wants to be the best in their ladder in the arenas. Caravans, defending your goods or stealing somebody else's. You're going to have guild versus guild wars. And we already talked. We know there's going to be a lot of guild versus guild wars going on. And node versus node wars. So there is a lot of meaningful PvP to be had. Now, I do know some of you are just going to want to run around killing random people. You're going to want to be gankers, kill those gatherers, kill those low levels, and you can do that. That exists. That's what Intrepid calls non-meaningful PvP. And if you do it, you're going to have to face the consequences of the corruption system. We'll get to that at the end of the video. So let's talk about castle sieges. You guys know that I'm really excited for these. I have loved castle sieges in pretty much every MMO that I've played that's had them. Now we know that every server is going to have 5 castles, one of them being a dominant castle. Don't quite have all the mechanics on what that dominant castle is going to do over the other 4 castles, but obviously, if they went to the trouble of telling us one of them is going to be dominant, then there's really 5 prizes, but one of them is like the grand prize. We know that to take the castles initially, it's going to be a siege against NPCs. And it's been said that these are not going to be walk in the park battles. These are going to be pretty impressive battles for you to wrestle control of these castles away from the NPCs. This is the premier guild versus guild content. The castle sieges are designed to be guild content. There's some opportunity for outside help, but really, the owner of the castle, the guild leader of the guild that owns the castle, becomes a king or a queen, becomes a monarch. It's really designed for that guild specific. Now, the other thing about the castle sieges is this isn't like other games where there's a siege every week or there's a siege every 3 weeks. This is going to be building recurring content. The guild that takes ownership of a castle has to build up 3 subnodes in between each siege cycle. So here's their castle. They won it. Now the next thing they have to do is spend the first week building up castle node A, and then castle node B, and castle node C. Now I suppose they could just not build these up if they wanted to, but they get the advantage of having 3 nodes to work with that belong exclusively to them. They're all military nodes, and they cap at stage 3. The nice part is they're immune to the influence of nearby nodes. These nodes can always grow to 3. They can't be blocked by other nodes, and they don't influence other nodes. So they're kind of in their own little universe. Now, these nodes can only get XP from their guild and their alliance guilds. All other nodes get XP for anyone doing anything that earns XP inside the zone of influence. It's going to require caravans to grow these nodes up. This creates a reoccurring open world PvP. These are supply lines. They're known supply lines. You know which node is growing. This is going to be an opportunity for rival guilds to attack all month long. So now you're starting to see, the intricacies of how castle sieges fit and shape the world. These nodes unlock services for the castle, so we don't have an exhaustive list of what these services are, and we do know that they boost the defense of the castle. So if you take the castle, you're probably going to be interested in building up those 3 subnodes every week. Now, currently known mechanics. We have been told we will not know all of the mechanics for sieging. We are going to be looking at sieging in Alpha 1. But we know that the attackers must make a siege declaration flag. We know it's going to require a master in each of the 3 artisan trees, gathering, processing, and crafting. Now, can those people be outside your guild? Do they have to be in your guild? Would you trust somebody with it outside your guild? These are all intrigue questions. And then we know a guild must be of a certain level to siege. Now, this is flagged in red. because we don't have the guild levels mechanics even remotely understood yet. We know that guilds do have levels. We know that you can get buffs or increase the guild size, but just the fact that we know not every level 1 guild can run around in Siege, it's a good thing to know. We know that the sieges are going to be a battle of waypoints. The attackers want to press into the castle, capture certain waypoints. The defenders want to turn around and attack the siege tent. By doing so, you decrease your own respawn timer and you increase your opponent's. We also know there's going to be a certain number of NPCs involved and they're going to act as mini raid bosses. Not quite sure how this is going to work. We'll take a look at it here in the next month when we start testing. The nitty-gritty details that we do have, we know that it's on a 90-minute timer. We know that the guild leader and 1 officer from the attackers can channel. That is a great change. This is a big thing from other games I've played where only the guild leader can channel. So what does everybody do? Everybody just self-targets the guild leader, slash targets the guild leader. Make sure the guild leader is dead as much as possible because he can't channel. In this case, you might not know who that 1 officer who can channel is. We also know guilds can sign up to siege or defend a castle. We know for a fact that the castle owner's guild leader approves the list of defenders. We know that the siege declaring guild approves attackers, but we're not quite sure how that all works yet. Again, we may not have all the details before we go into launch. They do want to keep some things close hold, so we don't feel like we know the entire game. The prize for owning a castle, the guild leader becomes a king or a queen, gets a flying mount. All the guild members have access to a second citizenship, so you generally can only be a citizen of 1 place at a time. The castle counts as a second place that you are a citizen of. There are services provided by your castle. Again, an unknown mechanic. We're not quite sure what services there are. And of course, bragging rights. There's only 5 castles. So imagine these 5 castles are going to be held by the 5 best guilds on your server. So this is an important note. I know that some of that is odd. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure to send them to me. I'll log them in the green notebook. I'll make sure to get them tested. But all of this is subject to testing. Extensive testing. Alpha 1 Phase 1 starts next month, September 2018. We're going to be testing Castle Sieges in depth. So if there's a point or concern you have, make sure to let me know in a comment below. I'll add it to the things I'm going to test. Next up, we got node sieges. Now, a little bit different than castles because node sieges are based on the individual. Castle sieges are all about the guild. Node sieges are all about the individuals. Now, we know that in the game, the node system is the foundation of the game. There are benefits to building up a node. We've covered that in other videos. So you have to have a way to tear them down. Now, as you can see, here is the timeline for stage 3 through stage 6 nodes. If you declare on a stage 3 node, you only have to give 2 days notice. If you declare on a stage 6 node, you give 5 days notice. So, as you know, one tactic might be to try to line up and siege a node inside of a Metropolis ZOI, get your allies to attack in one place, draw some of those Metropolis defenders away. I know a lot of people have said, but I'd defend my Metropolis. I'm going to be honest, if you're attacking my Metropolis, you're attacking my node where my house is or my freehold is, I'm probably going to defend what's mine, and the big thing needs to take care of itself. Now, you'll notice there's a siege cooldown time. It is not possible to just repeatedly siege a node over and over again, even if you could mechanically. We'll see that in a second. If a Metropolis is sieged, it cannot be sieged again for 50 days. Again, all this is subject to testing. We might find in alpha testing that we need to tell Steven, hey, we need to trim these down a little bit. So once we're testing, it'll get looked at. Now, motivations for sieging a node. It's in the way of your node. My node can't hit stage 5 if you're already a 5. So I might have to attack your node with my friends and our other friends and lots of more friends, knock you down, and then our node is ready to pop up to 5, take that spot. It's been there for so long, it just has to go. Remember that if a node levels, when it pops, it unlocks content. My node might be sitting at 4. We've never seen what happens when my node goes 5. And I just say mine, meaning the node I live in, not Jahlon's personal node. But my node needs to go 5. We don't know what content unlocks. So it might just be time for you to go, right? Some rivalry has developed between the two nodes. Remember, we talked about node versus node wars, and these are different than node sieges. Or maybe between the guilds that run them. Going to be interesting, very intricate dynamic of politics and intrigue. And then some men just want to watch the world burn. Like this guy. Maybe I just want to siege your node for something to do. Currently known mechanics. Someone must declare a siege. Requires an item from a quest reward. The item has an expiration date, so you can't just do this quest a bunch of times and have a big pile of siege declaration items. No, it doesn't work that way. It's going to be a costly endeavor to siege. There has been talk, now we don't know the mechanic, but it's going to cost about the same to siege a node as it did to build up that node. Not quite sure what they mean by that, but we'll be looking into it. This is not restricted to guilds. Individuals can sign up to siege. And every citizen of that node is automatically registered as a defender. Now, we talked about this. What if some people want to be like the inner, rebellion, the saboteurs? I think if your citizenship is set to the node, you're locked in as a defender. Now, you could certainly just not show up, but you're automatically registered as a defender as it is right now. The prize for winning a siege. You knock the node down one or more levels. The freeholds can be destroyed and looted. The freehold's belongings return to the owner. That means you can't steal my chair, can't steal my lamp, can't steal my building. But if my chest is there full of a bunch of flowers or stone, lumber, whatever, you can loot my chest. Storage chests can be looted inside the town. Furniture and stuff cannot be stolen. Now, we do not have a specific answer, and I know people have asked, and I can't find it. I don't know what happens to the housing. I did get asked that question after the last video on housing. I haven't seen anywhere definitive that you can burn a house down and take the ownership away. That is one of my questions. If I can ever get Steven or Jeffrey to the side, I want to ask them a question. Be like, hey, I know you don't want to give us all the details. Give us a few more. And of course, if the node is a stage 6, if it's a metropolis and you siege it, you're going to cost that mayor their flying mount. So again, you might just not like that mayor. It's a reason to siege him. All right, let's talk arenas. Now, yes, I know this artwork has nothing to do with an arena. I don't have arena artwork. Live with it. 1v1s, 3v3s, 5v5s. Maybe big red, maybe all caps, maybe a free-for-all 20. Arena ladders will have rewards, not so much in the rewards that you're thinking of that I do X arenas, I get X tokens, I buy X gear, not like that. We don't know what the rewards are going to be. I'm betting, if I'm a betting man, and I am, probably cosmetics. Cross-server arenas, question mark? Not confirmed, but we have this quote from Steven. We definitely like cross-server play. There's another quote from Jeffrey that says they understand that the pool of people might be small on one server, but if you open that up cross-server, it gives you enough people who want to do arenas. So definitely looking at that cross-server arena function. Equalized arenas, not at this time, but a big maybe. Now, I know a lot of people have said, but we need equalized arenas. And we can talk about that. Throw a comment below. If you guys are really for equalized arenas, make sure you put a comment below. I can roll those up into the feedback I give. Guild versus guild arenas. No. But team-based matchmaking will allow teams to face each other. So that is kind of cool. This is going to be another one of those. I hope it's only teams versus teams. I really hate when I know I'm facing a pre-made 5-man and I'm with 4 randoms. So I hope it's only team versus team that way. Let's talk caravans. You guys know that I've talked about caravans a couple of times. They are a rolling PvP zone. You do not need to flag up to attack a caravan. I'm going to say that twice because people still don't get it. You do not need to flag to attack a caravan. When you come up to a caravan, it's going to pop some options: attack, defend, or ignore. Once you enter into the caravan's radius and you pick an option, we at this time, we are under the belief that that's it. You agreed to defend it, you're stuck defending it. You ignored it, you can't jump back in and say, now I want to attack it. That may change as we playtest. Makes a little bit of a sense, though. If I scout you, I shouldn't be able to stay right up on top of you under the ignore thing and make the defender's flag to kill the scout. If you ignore it, you can't attack it later. They are a crucial part of the game, guys. Crucial part. They are the transportation of bulk resources. Remember in another video I talked about this, how caravans and mules and people all can carry stuff. Make sure to check that out if you want to know the details of that. We know that there's a reward for defending them. We don't know what that reward is at this time. We do know that you have to choose to defend it before about the halfway mark is the last thing I heard. There's rewards for defeating them. You jack a percentage of the stuff. You get a certificate when you destroy the caravan, but you have to go back to the origin of the caravan and claim the goods. Now, this is one of those, I got it, guys. I know that the way this sounds, some of you were like, I don't like it. This is one of those magic pencil sort of things. You just have to accept that's the way the rules are. Because you don't, how do you have a caravan then that you need a caravan to move this much stuff and then it drops this much stuff in the middle of the road, but you don't have a caravan here to pick it up? You just have to accept the fact that it's the magic pencil. Just roll with it. I'm going to talk about wars. Now you'll see I got guild versus guild and node versus war. A lot of red, a lot of unknown mechanics. Guilds can declare war on each other. There are levels of guild wars. Don't know what that means. There are objectives that are more than just kill counts. Steven was pretty emphatic that he didn't like the idea of, I declare against you, we fight for X amount of time, we build up X number of kills, and that's it. There's going to be objectives out in the open world. There's going to be objectives near the guild halls. So guild halls and guild fortresses are a thing. I don't talk about them here because I don't have enough for 101 quality level. Just know that these are kind of going to gravitate more towards like the EVE Online Corporation Wars with this extra objectives thing on it. Still in design, Alpha 1 Phase 1 will be testing the combat. This was not specifically on the list, so the bottom still in design was said by Steven. The design is up in the air. I think we're going to see this in Alpha 1 Phase 1. It's about 8 months long. I think they're going to slide it in and ask us to take a look. Node versus node wars. We can, leadership of a node can set a war condition that the citizens are hostile to each other. That's all we know at this time, but this is just so amazing right there. This is basically, you got to be careful who you let be mayor, or you might log out one night, wake up the next day and find that you're at war with your neighbors. Really, really good stuff here. All right, guys. So what if you absolutely must kill someone? What if you were Captain Rochefort from the Three Musketeers and you look at the Cardinal and you say, what if I absolutely must kill someone? And the Cardinal looks at you and says, if you must, you must. Well, you can, but what you're going to find is that you're going to have to deal with corruption. Corruption only happens under a very rare set of circumstances. Now, I know a lot of people are against this system that I talk to in the Discord in different avenues, but then a lot of times I end up talking to people and they say, I don't like the system, and then as they explain it back to me, they don't get it. They've got a fundamental mistake, so let's make sure we understand the corruption system first. Everything about this system still needs to be tested, so we are going to be testing it extensively. We're going to look at the 3 combat states right now: non-combatant, combatant, and corrupted. And big shout out to Lex, who made this chart. It has been monumental in explaining this to people. So everybody in life is always going to start off their journey as a non-combatant. Now you'll notice that if a non-combatant attacks a non-combatant, he becomes a combatant. If a non-combatant attacks a combatant, he becomes a combatant. But if a non-combatant attacks a corrupted, he remains a non-combatant. There is no penalty for killing the corrupt. So now, you've become a combatant. You kill a non-combatant. You become the corrupted. If you attack somebody and they attack you back, you just stay a combatant. If you are a combatant and you kill a corrupted, you remain just a combatant. You do not get corruption. Now, this is what kind of throws people off, because they're like, well, I'm a non-combatant and I can attack a corrupted, but I don't become a combatant. That is correct. It would only be if you were already flagged for combat and then somebody else became a combatant. Just realize, what do the rules say? So, if you're a combatant and you're attacking somebody and they're not attacking you back, you could stop attacking them and not get corruption. Notice over here, it says non-combatant attacks a non-combatant. They become a combatant. A combatant kills. This one is attacks. This one is kills. You get the corruption when you pull the coup de grace and you kill the person. Now, this is different than a corrupted. If you are corrupted, it doesn't matter who you kill. It does not matter who you kill. You are corrupted. You stay corrupted. Now, big thing. No change in your corruption if you're corrupted and you kill a combatant. No change if you're corrupted and you kill a corrupted. If you're corrupted and you kill more non-combatants, your corruption continues to increase. So, a lot of people had it in their head that once you were corrupted and you were killing legal combatants, your corruption continued to go up. This is not the case. Corruption only functions when killing non-combatants. So, corruption and the death penalty. Now, realize that the death penalty affects everybody. The corruption, you'll notice they get more in some places. So the death penalty for everybody. Loss of XP. This is negative XP. It is not like you're dropping down in levels. You're incurring XP debt. Character penalties for everyone. Degraded stats, lower hit points, lower mana, lower gear proficiency because you are in negative XP. Combatants, let me walk back a second. Corrupted get their own penalties, more penalties when they are corrupted. So while they are in the state of corruption, they have additional penalties. Now, combatants receive less penalties than non-combatants. So if you attack me and I don't fight back, I take a big penalty. If you attack me and I fight back, I take a smaller penalty if you kill me. Corrupted get 3 to 4 times the penalty. This is important. Corrupted get 3 to 4 times the penalty. So keep that in mind. That's just why I said you could stop. If you attack somebody and you take them to 20% and they haven't fought back, you might just want to put that dagger back in your belt and walk off because you might not want that 3 to 4 times the penalty. Now, I know people have said, well, this is just a way for people to dodge PvP. Sure. Maybe. Not everybody always wants to PvP every minute of every day. Well, I should be able to. And you can gank whoever you want. You're just going to get corruption. The corrupted can drop their gear. Once you're corrupted, there is a percentage chance of dropping your gear. This gear is lootable, which means be careful because if you're deep into corruption, you're going to get killed and drop some stuff. Everybody drops a percentage of their gatherables. Now remember, a combatant receives less penalty than a non-combatant. So you don't fight back, you're going to drop a larger percentage of your gatherables than you're going to drop if you fight back. Now, clearing corruption status. You have to die to remove corruption. You may have to die multiple times. There may be a quest chain to remove it. May be a quest chain. And that is the only alternative they've talked about and really the only one they're even thinking about. That was said a couple of live streams ago. All right, guys, and that is it. But as you know, because I like 100% transparency, I always do this. 121 unpaid referrals. Thank you, guys. That means a ton to me. 502 visits. That was really my goal, was 500 visits. I converted about 24% of people. I brought in about $354 into the kitty. Frost, I am not seeing your most recent purchase reflected. You might want to throw in a ticket to customer support and be like, hey, I'm Jahlon's referral, and he didn't get credit for my stuff. Zing him. I like to keep people honest. You guys keep me honest. If you haven't signed up already, there's a referral link in the description below. It means a ton to me. I take all that money, I kick it back to my community, my gaming network. So I'll be doing all sorts of crazy giveaways. That's about 20 months. That's about 20 months subscriptions right there. I'll be able to give away about 20 months of sub time to Ashes. For everybody else, if you've registered, purchased, and you think this is wrong, email me and let's talk. 100% transparency is the Paradox Network goal. I don't ever want there to be anything somebody says, well, Jahlon and the shady, as you saw, if I know and it's wrong, I'm going to tell you right away. As always, guys, if you want to talk, join my Discord. Swing by Twitch. And As always, big special thanks to my sponsors. These guys just keep giving me a little bit of money. Keeps me in ramen and coffee. Just kidding. It all goes in the kitty. I give away stuff. Right now, I am holding the money still. I gave away a copy of a game, and then I don't know what happened with that developer. They kind of like went off this way. So just holding it until I get into a game worth giving away. Anyway, guys, lots of post-production to do. I'll see you guys later. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? There's videos up here to watch. You gotta go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.